The American Academy of Pediatrics has declared the state of mental health for children and adolescents a national emergency. Going to school during the COVID-19 pandemic has been challenging for many children. Some are suffering from anxiety, while others are becoming less engaged or falling behind while struggling with remote learning. A New York Times parenting newsletter titled "Why Kids May Be Melting Down at School" looks at how children are adjusting to the pandemic woes. The piece includes insight from teachers across the country. And the writer of that newsletter, Jessica Grose, joins us now. She's a parenting columnist for the New York Times. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Now kids are kind of heading back to school. For many, it would have been a whole year of remote learning, probably like a year and a half. And teachers are finally getting to engage with them in a way that they haven't been able to. And I think we're starting to see the effects of the pandemic in a way that we didn't before. What are teachers telling you about how this pandemic is affecting the kids that they see?
So overall, kids are happy to be back in school. That's a positive takeaway that we can all take home with us. That said, socially and emotionally, teachers are finding that kids are anywhere from 6 to 18 months behind where they might be in a typical year. That may result in them acting out a little bit more than they might have in previous years. And for younger kids, that might mean a little bit more separation anxiety or having to go over what it means to be in a classroom more frequently than they might have in previous years when they had more experience with that.
So Jessica, I don't know if you heard how we teased our discussion with you before the commercial break, but it's a question that I've had that I'm curious about. Given some of the conditions that children in countries less fortunate than ours, in countries where access to education can be difficult, kids have to travel sometimes great distances. They don't have the same technology at their fingertips, whether we're talking about computers or even up-to-date textbooks, and yet they still find a way to learn and they still find a way to go on to do incredible things once they receive their education. Explain why it's been so difficult here. I understand that kids will be behind academically, and that is certainly a challenge. But when we're talking about the mental health and the stress that the pandemic has wrought on our children, how profound is it vis-a-vis some of these other difficulties that kids in other places may have?
Well, I can tell you that there was a meta review of over 20 studies globally that was done about anxiety and depression levels in children and teenagers from several countries across the globe. And what it showed was that overall, depression and anxiety has doubled in many cases in many, many countries. So this is not an exclusively American issue. This is a once in a lifetime global shutdown of basically every culture and huge disruptions in the way that children go to school and live their lives. So I wouldn't absolutely not say that this is an exclusively American problem. And I also wouldn't say that this isn't something that children can overcome if given the right support. So, we're talking about how it is right now this school year. And what all of the teachers also said is that they have a lot of hope that given enough support at home and enough support in the classroom and really talking about the emotional issues that these kids are facing, that they can, go on to do really well in the classroom. I think we were talking about just what's going on today and what teachers are seeing. And to be clear, I also heard that there were benefits that teachers saw for kids going through this moment. So one teacher in Georgia told me that she felt that the children in her classroom this year were more empathetic than children in previous years. And they had felt that they could really be there for their families over this difficult time and that had affected them in a positive way. So I don't want to over-rotate and say, this is a disaster and there's no coming back out of it. I don't think that that's true, but this is certainly a global issue that isn't just an American problem.
That's really, out of adversity often comes resilience, right? And, I'm a parent, and watching these kids adapt to the different requirements, washing your hands, putting your mask on, it's actually been quite impressive. They're much more impressive than some adults, for sure. But that being said, you said given the right support. And I wonder if we know what the right support is. Of course, there's an expectation that students may have fallen behind academically. And so we know what to do. We know how to alter a curriculum or what sort of, special additional programs to provide kids that are falling behind. But do we know what to do to provide the emotional support that would also, in many ways impact the children's learning?
I think we do to an extent. I mean, what everyone says about every aspect of the pandemic, this is new. We're all making it up as we go along to some extent. But what universally I've heard from teachers and psychological experts is that just acknowledging your children's feelings, talking to them about how the school year is different, if they are struggling, being open to getting them extra psychological support, all of those things can go a deeply long way. Will it put a magic Band-Aid and make the pandemic go away? I wish, but it's not that easy. I mean, I think a lot of people in all communities are struggling and suffering as this becomes endemic. And so I don't think that there's a magic bullet, but just talking and surfacing the problem and getting supports and adequate counseling services in the schools can go a long way.
So, Jessica, will there be so let's think about what it will look like in the future in 2 or 3 years. Will there have to be a realignment, especially as the kids who are, let's say, in 9th grade or 10th grade, or possibly even 11th grade, prepare for college? Will universities have to take into account the pandemic when it comes to ranking students and it comes to how they choose to accept students into colleges and universities? Because what was true 5 years ago about where a child should be academically may not be true in 2022 or 2023.
I think it's too soon to say. I think many aspects of our culture and society are being reevaluated in light of the pandemic. And I think especially schools, there's a lot of things that many communities felt were not working for them and were not working for their children. And so it's a moment where we can evaluate everything in our lives. And so I think it's too soon to say. Kids can catch up pretty quickly when they are back in a classroom. And so I think, like everything else in the pandemic, it's, evaluating things as they are in the moment. I think anyone who is making crystal ball prognostications 3 years in advance in this moment is making at best an educated guess. So, I am hopeful that we are all reevaluating many aspects of our lives, including school and standards. But it sort of remains to be seen what the world's going to look like in 2 to 3 years.
Jessica, adults, sometimes we don't make things any better. And many things that have to do with this pandemic have been politicized, particularly when it comes to classrooms. Wearing masks in the classroom, masks mandates. Now, we're probably going to see this political stuff sort of bubble up again because pretty soon kids are going to be able to have access to the vaccine. I'm wondering what teachers are telling you in the classroom. Are these little brains sort of absorbing all this political rancor, and how are teachers dealing with it?
They absolutely are. I'm sure you've seen the videos of school board meetings that are becoming extremely contentious over the issue of mask wearing. And some teachers in different parts of the country are finding that kids are very obstinate about wearing masks in some places where there are mandates. And that is stressful for teachers because they have to take time out of their classroom to tell the kids, please pull up your mask, please put on your mask. And it sort of casts a pall. So in fact, it is spilling over to the classrooms in some way. I think parents just need to be aware that kids absorb everything. They hear everything you say. And so just in terms of messaging within your family about these rules, whatever you're saying is going to have an impact.
All right, Jessica Grose.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah, very, very good reminder and a fascinating discussion. Certainly food for thought. You know, one of our viewers who's watching us right now was wondering about how kids internalize some of these things. In other words, we love, as adults, we love to say kids are so resilient, they just bounce back from anything, but possibly kids internalize a lot of the things that they witness, whether it's tension between parents or difficulties at school, and those things can manifest themselves much later in life, as my psychiatrist knows. No, I'm only kidding. So yeah, it's a fascinating discussion, and one that we certainly will continue to have right here at CBS News. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thanks so much for having me.